Glad to have you join us on CoreTV News at this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The senator representing Lagos West Senatorial District, Solomon Adiola, has called on the 8th National Assembly to immediately seek the activation and operation of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, NABRO, to ensure that the legislature fulfill its mandate for effective legislation and representation. Adiola, who spoke while contributing to the debate on the legislative agenda for the 8th Senate, said beyond making laws and oversight, a major function of the legislature is the power of the purse, which is the power to appropriate funds through budget, adding that the executive will always want the yearly budget to be passed without scrutiny of the legislature. A situation he foresees will end the operation of NABRO, which is the equivalent of USA Congressional Budget Office. He added that the legislative arm of government cannot afford to lose the power of the purse, and NABRO will assist in critical scrutiny of appropriation bills, as well as medium-term expenditure framework. They cannot be taken as sacrosanct without questioning, adding that each committee of the Senate should be supported in the interim by qualified consultants in relevant fields. The Northern Governors Forum has inaugurated a committee on the review of criminal justice system in the region. Chairman of the forum, Kashim Shettima, inaugurated the committee, which comprises attorney generals and commissioners of justice of all the states in northern Nigeria. Shettima, who is also the Borno State governor, told members of the committee that they have 3 months to turn in a report to the Governors Forum on the ongoing counterinsurgency operation in the state. The governor expressed satisfaction about places like Bama, Mati, and Baga, which were seized by insurgents that have since been retaken by the military. The Senate is to adopt 2 modalities for the screening and confirmation of ministerial nominees. It says provisions of the 1999 Constitution, especially Section 147, subsection 1 and Section 120, says the Senate standing rules will be fundamental in the process slated for next week. National Assembly correspondent Basi Aye now reports.
Just before the senators settled down for the business of the day, Senate leader Ali Ndume raised a motion for an executive session. The closed-door session lasted for almost 2 hours before regular activities commenced, without any reference to what was discussed. It was not until the end of plenary before the purpose and outcome of the session was revealed. According to the spokesman of the Senate, Dino Melaye, it was a necessary step towards developing a procedure for the screening of ministerial nominees next week. To this end, relevant sections of the 1999 Constitution and extant rules of the Senate will be adopted.
Section 14.3 is going to be another very fundamental instrument in the screening of ministers by the grace of God to be as from Tuesday. We are also going to consider Section 65 of the 1999 Constitution. Section 65 of the Constitution is clear. It says, subject to the provision of Section 66 of this Constitution, a person shall be qualified for election as member of, because what the Constitution is saying is that anyone who must be a member of, or rather a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, must first qualify to be a member of the House of Representatives, meaning all conditions and conditionalities that empower you to run for the office of member of the House of Representatives must be fulfilled before you can become a minister of the Federal Republic.
He also brought up other issues to be considered at the confirmation hearing.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be our ultimate interest, and we are going to do all this in public interest. So we have received a number of petitions, and those petitions are going to be looked into, and it will also guide us. The veracity of those petitions will also guide our proceedings during the screening exercise.
The screening and confirmation of 21 ministerial nominees is scheduled to begin on Tuesday, October 13. Basi Aye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Senate President Bukola Saraki has directed the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions to treat all petitions against ministerial nominees before Tuesday, October 13. This was after the Senate formally received a petition from some groups in Kaduna against the nomination of a special advisor to the UN Secretary General, Amina Ibrahim, for a cabinet position. The petition, which is the second received in as many days, was delivered by Senator Danjumala, representing Kaduna South.
The petition is against who?
The nominee of Kaduna State.
Against who?
Against Amina Mohammed. It is indicated through the complainants.
Okay. Yeah, just come out late. There's no judicial remedy being sought, is there?
No.
Reactions and counter-reactions played out from Nigerians across board over the ministerial nominee list ruled out by the Senate President on Tuesday when it resumed plenary in October from the President on 30th September. For some Nigerians, it was not only about regional age and gender balance, it was more about the integrity record of the nominees. Prominent among them is the former governors of Lagos State and Rivers State, Babatunde Fashola and Rotimi Amechi, who have recently been alleged of corrupt practices. But for Olukayode Salako and Bumi Ajayi, the issue plays out differently to them.
If the PDP have positioned themselves to be attacking all the APC nominees and all of that, it is normal. But I want to assure you that the Senate will clear all those ministerial nominees, because right now they are the best for Nigeria. Buhari knows what he's doing. He can't just put anybody there. The people he has put there are the architects of the change revolution movement in Nigeria. These are the people who have the master plan of what Buhari wants to do in this government.
If you look at another 15, it's quite a lot. I've just 21, another 15 is quite a lot. And those 15 can make a difference to the structural arrangement and things like that people are raising, youth, women. Those 15 can be used to deal with those issues. So I would rather, at this stage, wait, get my the complete list, then I will.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say. I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV for the space and news. The House of Representatives is set to revisit the controversial $470 million surveillance camera contract for Abuja and Lagos. This, according to the lawmakers, is against the backdrop of the recent multiple bomb attacks in two satellite towns on the outskirts of the Federal Capital Territory. Two House members raised a joint motion on the matter.
That we sign with these companies, because we cannot keep paying out for something that we have not had value for. It is extremely important that we believe, or rather create the opportunity to deal with these people, because at the end of the day, those loans itself that we took were repatriated back to China. I find it so unacceptable And I appeal to my colleague that please, this level of some kind of imperialism or economic exploitation, we must find a final solution to. If we have to pay for something, definitely we should get the value. If we are not going to get value, then there is no need to pay. So I believe that the time and hour has come for us to look at the terms of those loans that we have taken, so that we can address this issue once and for all. A stitch in time saves 9. The era of exploitation has come and gone. We will never allow this anymore.
So I would also lend my voice to say that this is one motion, this is one issue that we must look at very critically. But in looking at it critically, Mr. Speaker, sir, I also think that we need to look at most of the other agreements that were signed and to ensure and reactivate that any bilateral agreement or treaty that is signed on behalf of this country shall not have the full effect until it has been brought before Parliament and Parliament has had its input.
Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, has reassured the international community of the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari-led government to stamp out terrorism and insurgency from Nigeria. He said the sub-regional body is also alive to its responsibility of stemming the tide of terror in West Africa. Senator Ekweremadu gave the assurance at a 2-day high-level seminar on peace, security and sustainable development organized by the Association of European Parliamentarians with Africa in Belgium. Kogi State Governor Idris Wada is banking on a level playing field by the federal government and President Muhammadu Buhari ahead of the governorship election slated for November 21. Wada is contesting on the platform of the People's Democratic Party against former Governor Abubakar Audu of the All Progressives Congress, but is convinced of victory. He told State House correspondents after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari that is sure that the election will be free and fair.
Very tumultuous turnout of our supporters and members of our party when I launched my senatorial campaign at the Eastern Senatorial Zone of Kogi State at Ayingba. A very successful rally and turnout of our people. So in terms of preparation, we are preparing very hard. And I'm working with the security agencies to ensure that there's a secure and safe environment for our people in the course of the campaign and during the elections. Any miscreants will be dealt with during the course of the election. People should be given a free opportunity to express their will, and I believe that on the basis of the record of the performance I have laid down over the last 3 years.
The Cross River State government has exempted the poor from paying taxes in the state. It's also preparing grounds to provide them with free housing with a view to giving them a better life. Governor Benedict Ayade discussed this to State House correspondents after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. He added that despite the current environmental challenges in the state, he is committed to improving the lives of the citizens. The high population in Lagos State appears not to be the only distinguishing factor, but a constant situation of traffic gridlock which have left many residents disgruntled. While previous administrations have tried different means of ending the menace, the problem remains unabated. Now, with the new government of Akinwumi Ambode, residents in Lagos observed that the evolution in the powers of last-mile fishers in Lagos has turned the situation from bad to worse as commercial motorists flout traffic rules with impunity, compounding the problem of vehicular movement. But to a town planning expert, Bumi Ajayi, past governors failed to deal with the problem from its roots, while calling on the new administration to re-strategize from old solutions and help reduce the burden of residents over traffic gridlock.
For more than 30 years, or even 40 years, Lagos has got transportation planning wrong. I remember when I was in the Federal Civil Service, there was a Lagos Metropolitan Transport Master Plan. And I told my comments on that master plan was, go and reduce the need for movement. Don't think you can ever accommodate all movement. But unfortunately, the Lagos State government at various stages have been made themselves believe that they can accommodate all movements, and it has never been done anywhere in the world. So all over the world now, what they're doing planning-wise is that they're now having medium density development. They are now allowing mixed uses, so that you will not need to travel, you know. So until we get our bearing right and plan in the proper way, it's going to be like that. Furthermore, the Lagos State government is not even has not consciously arranged for parking. That this is where people can park, and there were people park regularly on the high road, therefore creating traffic at the back. So I think we just have to get back, then look at it. How long did it take Lagos State government before they now know that they need water transport? Jakande started it. After he left, the thing died. Whilst if right from day one, water transport has been given a priority, the problem will be less.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai has commended the management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency for its efforts in combating piracy and other criminal activities on Nigeria's waterways. General Buratai said this when the Acting Director General of NIMASA, Haruna Babajairo, paid a working visit to the Army headquarters, also assured NIMASA of the cooperation of the Army in curbing criminal activities, especially in the creeks, where barges and other watercrafts are used to commit crimes like crude oil theft and piracy. The Army Chief also used the opportunity to appeal to the management of NIMASA and other corporate organizations to assist with the resettlement of the internally displaced persons through the corporate social responsibility programs. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, opposed bids by Mahmoud Toko and 4 other defendants standing trial in the 1.5 billion naira subsidy scam to quash charges preferred against them. The other defendants are Ochonogo Alex, Abdullahi Alao, and their companies, Etana PLC and AX Energy. They're standing trial before Justice Lateef Lawal Akaku of a Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja. At the resumed hearing of the matter on Wednesday, EFCC counsel Rotimi Jacob San prayed the court not to entertain the submissions of the defense team led by Olaniro Obehi to quash the charges against the accused persons. Creativity and understanding of universal and timeless artworks are qualities hardly given the right attention in most developing countries, even though developed countries make a fortune from promoting art. Our correspondent Nato Ilavari takes a look at how much of these artifacts are celebrated here in Lagos.
Experts say to build literacy skills in children, take them on artistic adventure, read the works of art to them, and then they'll be able to analyze what they see, develop their imaginations, critical thinking and powers of observation, hence the need to preserve the museum. The museum curator says the school curriculum has social studies as a subject which helps children to learn about Nigerian culture through arts.
The Lagos State government, they have what you call social studies, and part of it is that they must visit the museum to know their heritage. So it inspires them to want to know more and to read more about the objects. Like I said also, that when they come for visits, guided tours here in the museum, after the visits we have what we call see, touch, and feel. And we give them these objects to feel, not the originals. We have replicas where they feel, look at it, you know, inside out to see, and then this brings about, you know, interest, wanting to know more. How were these objects crafted? You know, that's what they do. And you see them reading, looking for that, asking questions on that.
The human mind can be broadened and inspired to create reading-related skills through learning about the artist, people, places, and period depicted in the artwork.
It makes you to think, because the artist that made it is no longer around. Some are dead, some are alive, but you cannot reach to them. So you tend to want to go into the mind of the artist to say, what was this man thinking? What was his perception? How did he view this? How did he create these things? And what they do is that you go in and say, maybe this was the thought of the man. this is what he wanted to project because the man is not there to explain. So that motivates you to want to know more about the object or the artifacts.
Meanwhile, comparing one form of art to another helps in appreciating the technique or tools the artists use in creating their works. The star attractions are the brasses from Benin City. Traditional symbols of power contains carved ivory and the royal host of crowns. A less fortunate symbol of power is the bullet-riddled car in which Murtala Muhammad was assassinated in 1976. After some inquiries, Nigerians were willing to add their view on the act of preserving history.
The car that you are looking at, it is the car that our former head of state, that is General Murtala Rahman Muhammad, he was assassinated on the 13th February 1976. And the whole Nigeria, they know the value of that president. You look at his contribution to Nigeria government was very enormous, which the whole Nigeria take as a model.
People, when we talk about people coming into the museum, they do not appreciate art because they see it as something fetish, something that is associated with juju, you know, and I see this because they are not aware of what it is.
We have the foreigners who come as expatriates. We also have the students from the nursery, secondary school, and university level. But at the moment, we have more of the student level coming in because we have been able to partner with the Lagos State government in terms of adding arts into their curriculum program.
Outside Nigeria, migration experts say the number of migrants arriving on the Greek islands near Turkey has surged to about 7,000 a day in the past week. The International Organization for Migration said the average in late September was 4,500 a day. Fears of worsening weather may account for the surge. The IOM says the EU's migrant relocation scheme got underway on Friday when 2 Eritreans left Italy on a flight to Sweden. Some EU member states still object the scheme. Meanwhile, Turkey has voiced concern about the potential for even more Syrian migrants arriving at its border because of Russian airstrikes in Syria. The warning was issued by Turkish Foreign Ministry spokesman Tanju Belgic. Turkey already hosts about 2 million Syrian refugees, many of whom are desperate to leave the emergency camps and start a new life in Europe. India's foreign ministry has complained to the Saudi Arabian authorities following an alleged brutal attack on a 58-year-old Indian woman in Riyadh. Kasturi Munarathima's right arm was chopped off, allegedly by her employer, when she tried to escape from their house last week. Munarathima, who was working as a domestic help, is now recovered in hospital. Her family also alleged that she was being tortured by her Saudi employers. Saudi authorities, however, has not commented on the incident yet. The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Tunisia's National Dialogue Quartet for helping the country's transition to democracy. The Nobel Committee said the group of civil society organizations had made a decisive contribution to democracy after the 2011 revolution. It said it helped establish a political process when the country was on the brink of civil war. Tunisia's uprising was the first and most successful of the Arab Spring, while other countries Libya, Egypt, Yemen and Syria either reverted to authoritarian rule or descended into violence and chaos. Only Tunisia has managed a successful transition to democracy. The Tunisian Quartet is made up of 4 organizations: the Tunisian General Labour Union, the Tunisian Confederation of Industry, Trade and Handicrafts, the Tunisian Human Rights League, and the Tunisian Order of Lawyers. It was created in 2013, 2 years after the revolution, when security in the country was threatened following the assassination of 2 key politicians and deadly clashes between Islamists and secular parts of the society. And that wraps it on news. These are. Thank you for watching. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.